department heads, if I figure out what we're doing, one of the reasons, and let me say this, before I say anything else, I want to say what a great job Ken Slava and the mayor have been doing with this oil spill. Ken has kept us up to date twice a day, in the afternoon and the evening. I know the mayor's been meeting with, at least by telephone, with all various mucky mucks, but they have done a wonderful job, and I think the citizens of Fairhope really owe those two gentlemen a debt of thanks. Having said that, I do want to ask about a couple of things that are bothering me. And number one is, I understand the boat that we thought about buying from the state is still located in the Fairhope Yacht Club, and my question is, why?
Here it's on. We're waiting for a DECA to move it. I understand there's a Loxley, somebody in Loxley bought it, and we're waiting on them to move it. It's currently on Ed Walls' lease's property, and we're waiting on them to actually move it. But that was the word I was given a little over a month ago.
And so it'll be gone in the next 2 weeks, you think?
I don't know if it's 2 weeks. They're making arrangements to move it.
Well,
But I will look into it.
I'll ask about it again at the next meeting. The next is, we talked about the implementation of some traffic controls at Oak Street and Section Street. I know that Jennifer and Ken priced that out. I also know that the painting changes that were recommended by Volker could be done for somewhere around $500, at least according to what Jennifer said. And the shading of the corner would be around $23,000, I think. But my question is, where do we stand on that? Is that on the agenda, on the radar?
As far as I know, she's planning on doing it now that school's out, because she's actually going to do all the parking places downtown, because we have other places too. And now she's doing the dog park, and I think she's going to devote to downtown.
Next is, and this was Mrs. Von Burns had sent you a letter and copied the councilman on it. And it talks about paving at Bancroft and Morphy. And any progress made on that?
Bancroft and Morphy.
That's by Faulkner State and the Methodist
You mean the
Church.
parking?
No, I mean paving of the street.
Okay, well, all street resurfacing, you know, will be discussed in this year's budget, but since we didn't approve any for this fiscal year, we'll be talking about all our resurfacing projects, which we desperately need.
So that would be all until the new budget.
Unless, that's correct.
There's no money in it now.
There's no money been appropriated for any resurfacing this year. Now, we will do any pothole repairs or any holes of that nature, we will take care of.
Okay. Next, I know we've talked about this in the work session, Nichols Street deck, and I guess, Tuck, we're going to wait for you to report back to us and let us know where we stand before we start building.
Right, we're still looking into that. As you know, there's been some issues raised about it.
Okay. And you think that you can have an answer no later than by the next meeting?
Yes, I have asked for permission to allow Chris Gill to help me with that, because I do think it's a serious enough issue and a complicated enough issue that I always believe two heads are better than one, and I would appreciate enlisting his help with that, if that's all right with the council. I'm going to ask Mr. Kingrea about it, because he's sort of the liaison for an attorney.
I certainly don't. But I know that these folks have been waiting for 13 years to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. We hope it's not an old Russian train.
Right.
Another thing that was mentioned, and only because I almost ran into one of the flower beds the other night, is that we were going to talk about painting those beds that are now kind of poke out in the middle of the street, both on Magnolia and on Section Street, with some kind of luminary or luminescent type paint. And I'm wondering where we stand with that, or is that?
I have instructed Public Works to get to it. I'll just have to find out when they are going to schedule. That whole street needs to be repainted.
Last but not least is, we had talked about annexation in meetings that we had back 18 months ago, and it doesn't seem like anything's getting done. we were told, I think Mr. Mayor, you told us y'all were studying it. And 18 months is a long time to study.
Well, I believe the administrator actually gave you a report on that, but we researched it and we found out since we're less than 25,000, the only options you have are annexation are very slim or none unless the people want to come in, or you have a vote of the district or the area, and you have to have a petition signed by a certain percentage of the people. So it's very difficult when you're under 25,000.
So we've abandoned.
We're still trying to come up with all the parcels that can annex that are adjacent to us, and we're going to try to notify those as we can through the planning departments, trying to compile that list as we talk.
Okay, thank you.